intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
ThaBoxingvoice.com. All the guys want, I want what Mayweather got. I want what Mayweather got. You done bust your ass like Mayweather. I was trying to fight every fighter. I sacrificed a lot
RCC Promotions
to get to where I got to.
What do you bring to the table?
Let's get this on. Let's do it. Well, it's like this. Wait.
All right, that's it. Hold on. Bernard, everybody calm down.
Man, you know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all. I sacrificed a lot. ThaBoxingvoice.com to get to where I got to. ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Good morning, TBV, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs, and we are back. Sergey the Krusher Kovalev will be doing action versus Anthony Yarde August 24th. We're less than a month out. This is a big fight. We have a heavily touted prospect going to a foreign country. No fear in his voice. Mindset is focused. And it's time to preview and predict this fight a little early, since for Anthony Yarde, it is a big fight. And for Kovalev, it is a very important fight. If he cannot get the win, there will be no super fight with Canelo Alvarez, which is already being looked at for October. So you know the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Anthony Yarde, Sergey Kovalev, August 24th. This year, less than 30 days away. Let me head on out to my co-host, Big Mike. Don't forget, you can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation.
RCC Promotions.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. And he stayed out for 47.
A man stand up for what he believes in, and when you stand up for what you believe in, you accept whatever consequences come behind it. ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yo. Good morning, everybody out there in the TBV universe. What's up with y'all? Anthony Yarde, Kovalev, August 24th. Big fight in the 175 division. We know that the fight been talked about for a couple months now. We thought we were going to have a earlier date, but these guys pushed it back to August. And will the fight even take place? You know what I'm saying? There've been a lot of rumors about Canelo and Kovalev in October. Then it just came out last week. We got Derevchenko and Canelo for the IBF, so that might take precedent over the Kovalev fight. Now, if the fight does happen, many of you guys know that I am picking Anthony Yarde. I think he's a younger, bigger, fresher fighter, and I think he got what it takes to beat Kovalev, but it will be in Russia, and it will be a tough task. But we'll break it down and get into some of the particulars this morning. What's going on, Ness?
Nothing much, brother. Good morning. Good to see you back. So let me ask you, what are some of those particulars? Obviously, you know, I'll come out and admit it. I have a problem seeing talent, you know, or believing in the visual talent. I like to see it tested. I watched some prediction videos from the Mayweather Boxing Club on this, and everyone that talks of Yarde says the same thing that we say here on the show. He hasn't fought anyone to get him to this level. But I don't want to think that way, right? And lose out on an opportunity to pick Yarde to be the winner. The difference is, I feel like it's a huge task in Russia. They're banking on knockout, but what happens if you can't knock out Kovalev? Like, Kovalev is still dangerous, you know. Ismail Shalat was a heavily touted up-and-coming prospect, slick, light heavyweight, and got destroyed. Nathan Cleverly was a champion, undefeated at the time. He got destroyed. Campillo, former champion, destroyed. Like, there's only two dudes that did it to Kovalev that I can recall, and that's Alvarez and Ward. And, you know, Alvarez not on that Ward level, but he still showed that he's on a level. And I just want you to help me see what it is that you see outside of, and I mean no disrespect, but like it's a handsome guy doing some Mayweather moves in training. And that's been his stick for a long time, and I think it finally stuck. But are those skills that we see in pad work and shadow boxing, are they going to translate on that big night?
Honestly, when I look at Anthony Yarde, I see a big guy that is campaigning at 175. So I do think coming in, he might be a little bit stronger than Kovalev, but that's just my assumption. One thing that I do like when I watch Anthony Yarde is the body combination and the willingness to go to the body. I know he does the shoulder roll, which is Mayweather thing, but in my opinion, he's a little bit more aggressive coming out of that shoulder roll. He's a come forward kind of fighter. Throws a lot of combination, and you heard our guy Spencer Ferrer on here many a times saying that Tony Ajayi has so many combinations that he implement in their game plan and that they just do on a daily basis. So combination punching, body shots, and just being a young lion, in my opinion, is why I like Anthony Yarde, and been liking him since the first day I stepped foot on this podcast, and even before that. So maybe I am just going off of me liking him so much, but I do think that he can get the job done against Kovalev. I think Kovalev is getting older. I think maybe his best days are behind him, and they might be catching him at the right time. There's a reason why Canelo maybe decided on Kovalev as being a potential opponent. He may have seen something too that he wants to exploit. So maybe Yarde will get that chance first if we don't get any big surprises from the main event camp and the Golden Boy camp.
So now, compare their hand speed. Is Yarde faster? Because I see him with these placed shots. You know, he seems like he hasn't been put under pressure. He hasn't fought a pressure fighter. He's able to play the counter puncher, shoulder roll. Like, where's his speed comparing it to Kovalev?
Oh, that's a good question. He got good hand speed, you know what I'm saying? But on this level, you know, you really just don't know until these guys get in the ring, because I'm not going to sit here and be like Kovalev as a slouch. Kovalev is a damn good boxer. We've seen his pedigree coming back against a guy who knocked him out, came back and win a decision. He is with Buddy McGirt now. So I just think that we won't find out the hand speed or the chin or anything like that until those guys get in the ring.
Now, I watched some interviews on Yarde, and you know, I think they were from July 15th, if I'm not mistaken, was the upload date. And he still doesn't know when they're going to Russia. Any concerns for that? And how soon should he be there? I think that the typical norm out of the country, get there before guys like to do it 1 week before fight week, giving them a total of 2 weeks to get acclimated. Do you think that that's going to be enough for Yarde, that's never traveled for competition?
Honestly, I don't know how far ahead Russia is of the UK, but they seem like they're pretty much in the same vicinity. I could be absolutely fucking wrong. But I don't think that the time difference is what it is if they were coming to the United States. So I think that being overseas already and being in the UK already, he might be able to get over there a week earlier or maybe 2 weeks earlier. But I'm thinking that the time zone is relatively close, so they might just go over there like a week before the fight. You know, because you don't want to check into your hotel and fuck around and you get room service and it's some shit that you know what I'm saying, get you sick or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We heard all kind of stories of how the old days were when guys used to go to different cities and fight the hometown favorite. You know what I'm saying? You might get a little bit smaller hotel room than you normally would get.
Now I see guys in the chat saying, "Hey man, Yarde better bring his own food. Watch what he eats." How serious you think? I don't know, the contamination of food or him getting some sort of virus, right?
Honestly, I think the teams when teams travel now, most of the time they bring their own food. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way the world is now. You know what I'm saying? You can order online. You know what I'm saying? You can get fresh ingredients delivered right to your door. So I don't think that's a big deal anymore. You know what I'm saying? But I would like those guys to travel with their own water, their own food, and things like that, just to be on the safe side. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a fight. You know what I'm saying, that can really change his life. You know what I'm saying? He can be fuck around and be world champion. Now you're looking at fights with Alexander, a guy's name, fight with Tybring, Gazchik, and him and Beterbiev having a unification. So possibly get the winner of that. And also you have who's the other champion? Dimitri Bivol, WBA. So yeah.
Super chat from Anthony Edwards, the Queen City Cobra. He'll be back in action September 14th on Border Wars 6. Well, he'll be taking on Marvin the Tank Furman. He says, I got Kovalev by stoppage in 4. Tundi don't know shit about boxing. And that's crazy because all the interviews that I see, people are calling him a genius. And those that are calling him delusional and deluded, his rebuttal is most geniuses were called crazy before they were called geniuses. Yarde's defense is when Floyd said he was TBE, we laughed at him. When he said he would make as much money as he did in one fight, we thought it was impossible. So when people think that me going to Russia to defeat Kovalev is impossible, I laugh at them. I don't even think of those people. Do you believe that a fighter can block out social media, negative comments, the betting lines, what the media thinks, what the fan thinks, you know? Can he block that out?
I mean, let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? We're all human at the end of the day. I mean, we look at the comments, we pay attention to social media, especially the younger generation, and Anthony Yarde is a younger guy, so I'm sure that he sees the whispers on social media that he can't get it done and things like that. But at the end of the day, he always says like he's not worried about what other people say, other people think. You know what I'm saying? He's worried about what he's going to do and how his team is going to help him do that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I mean, it may break its way in, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't think that the negative comments from people will be a big detriment. And I also believe, like we've seen many times before, people hate you, then they love you, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if you go over there and handle business, people are going to be happy and start cheering for you, you know what I'm saying? Because we see it all the time. Everybody loves a winner. So as long as you win, people gonna see. People gonna either talk about you, or you'll get that Floyd Mayweather effect where people just can't stand to see you fucking prosper.
I hear you, man. So I want to. Excuse me.
Super chat from Andre Diakonu. Lions in the camp. Dream it, believe it, become it. I got Anthony to win. Hashtag stamina for sale. That hashtag growing. I like that. Shout out to Tunde and his stamina for sale brand.
So I have Kovalev's record pulled up here. Yo, you see how Google is? Look, they're showing you my searches and shit. I've been looking for dog strollers and shit. My fat ass dogs can't run with me. You know, and I can't leave them in the house alone. They will fuck shit up. They ain't playing, man. I mean, they fucking shit up for real. The little one got my dresser all beat down. But listen, Kovalev's 36. Any of your decision on Yarde getting that win based off the age?
Yeah, I mean, like Tune said, everything is about timing. I mean, I think this is a good time to get Kovalev, 36 years old. Been in some tough fights with Andre Ward, two of those. Been in some tough fights with Alvarez. I mean, both of those fights were, second fight not as competitive as the first fight was. But, again, like, he's been in there with Shabransky, been in there with Chilemba, been in there with a lot of tough fights. So I do expect the age to be a factor in this fight, but it's on Anthony Yarde to show everybody that the younger, fresher guy can get it done over a guy who has a lot of experience. It may not be the Krusher that he was once upon a time, but still is a valid threat to anybody in that division.
I remember Shabransky kind of getting beat up.
Yeah, Shabransky got fucked up.
And he was a 19-0 fighter at the time.
Yeah, he got fucked up first by Sullivan Barrera. Then he was able to fight Kovalev, and Kovalev versus first defense, I believe, back when he beat Andre Ward, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
So what's the difference to you between Jean Pascal and Anthony Yarde?
Who? Pascal?
Yeah. Do you think Yarde is technically more sound than Pascal? I do think Pascal is a bit wide, so I won't argue if you said yes.
Pascal is wide, not as active, older, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how old Pascal is, but I do remember him and Bernard having some legendary face-offs, you know what I'm saying, with Max Kellerman. So if I'm going to go off that, I mean, when he fought Pascal, I think Pascal, even though he's still fighting to this day, you know what I'm saying, to right now, I mean,
he just upset somebody. And the Pascal that fought Kovalev was maybe the second version, but the first version I don't think was that old. I got to double check, but Pascal seems to only have had 2 losses at the time. One coming from Bernard, I'm pretty sure. One maybe Dawson, maybe? I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, I just know Pascal. I think he fight Marcus Brown coming up, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just think Pascal.
Yeah, he is facing Marcus Brown, coming off a loss to Dimitri Bivol.
Yeah.
Also got a loss to.
They went 12 rounds, right? The one with Bivol.
Yeah, so did Alvarez go 12 rounds with him. The one that beat Kovalev,
That's what Pascal hangs his hat on. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to get in the ring and go 12 rounds with these guys because he's a wily veteran. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to.
I mean, he still got power too. Like, I mean, let's keep in mind he did stop. He stopped Ahmed Abali, who was up and coming prospect, heavily touted, had power. He had power himself. I know he wasn't technically, Roy Jones, who Tundi Ajayi is comparing Anthony Yarde to. He said Yarde is Floyd, Roy, and who else he said? 3 guys. Do you know the third one?
No, I'm just going. You said, damn, who the fuck did you just say about Pascal? Man, look here. I don't know, man.
I'm just trying to compare those slick black fighters. Like Pascal was one.
I feel like a slick black fighter though.
Yeah, man. I mean, he ain't a robot. He ain't super sloppy, Mike. I mean, again, you know what it is? You also probably assessing the later version of Pascal.
Exactly.
But Pascal was a champ, man. He was up there in his prime, at one point, I mean, look, somebody always gonna have something to say because I believe he had a tight fight with Chad Dawson, maybe where like a headbutt ended it or something like that. It was on HBO. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to see what is what. We know Kovalev is giving up about 9 years to Yarde.
Huh? I think Yarde like 26, 27, 25.
Yeah, 27. And I think Kovalev's 36, right? Something like that. So
Yeah, I mean, Kovalev was able to beat Pascal. I just think that maybe Anthony Yarde is a better version of who he is than when Kovalev fought Pascal. I think Pascal was a little bit older, coming off the Bernard Hopkins fight.
the only issue for me is that, like, all right, let me see. I know I ain't showing it to you, but let me just pull it up for myself. When he fought Ishmael Salak and John Pascal, they had better wins coming into them fights. You know, they showed something coming into them fights. It's like you gotta hang your head on eye test when you're thinking of Yard. All right, so maybe Ishmael Salak was just all, you know, eye test, because I'm not seeing like a big light heavyweight name jumping out on before he got that Kovalev fight. That was on ESPN or HBO. I remember Max Kellerman being high on Salah.
I think HBO, because I know he fought Shabransky, then he fought another guy that was from the same stable, but he knocked his ass out quickly. Who did Kovalev fight after he fought Shabransky?
Shabransky. Then he fought Igor Milelenko.
Igor Milelenko, yeah. He whooped Milelenko ass like a round or two.
And this the thing, right? So, like, Isaac Chilemba, he's gone decisions with Kovalev.
Bivol, I believe, too.
You know, how many rounds did Kovalev take? I always got to sign in. This is some bullshit. How many rounds did Kovalev go with Cleverly? That was a European level champion.
Yeah, Cleverly, man.
I think Cleverly got stopped early, though.
Yeah, I never was a fan of Cleverly, you know what I'm saying? I've seen him, heard about
Cleverly
him.
got that value win that just keeps getting better in value as the years go on. He got stopped in 4. He got stopped in 4, and then after that is when he fought Ishmael Salak.
Does it go better, though?
Huh?
Does it get better in time?
If you beat Bellew and then Bellew went on to move up from light heavyweight to cruiserweight to capture a title, to then defend it, then move up to heavyweight and beat a heavyweight, yeah, man, your win looks good, champ.
He ain't defended. He went to like emeritus status. So,
Didn't he have one fight, bro?
No, he went to emeritus status. So
after Macaboo, he had no fight.
I don't believe so. He went to he fought BJ Flores.
There you go. So he defended it, champ.
But he moved up, so he wouldn't have to fight Usyk. And I do believe that he was weight drained at 175, and the fight between him and Cleverly, from all intents and purposes, was one of the worst fight that the UK public has put on, if you let them tell it. So I don't know how much cachet you give Cleverly for beating Tony Bellew. But he got a victory over him. But I never was high on Cleverly. Badu Jack moved up from 168 and beat the brakes off Cleverly on the Mayweather McGregor undercard. And Kovalev beat him too. So
I'm just fearful of the pressure. You know, we haven't seen Yard under that pressure, and then we can't deny that Kovalev's artillery is serious. Like, last thing to go on a fighter is power. So if we want to talk about age, we still know he could still knock you out. Mosley still knocked out Margarito old, you know. He still hurt and buckle Floyd old. So old don't mean nothing to power. And, you know, Kovalev is a dude that works behind the jab but coming forward. I mean, he could be different now under the hands of Buddy McGirt, who I text this morning, but I think Buddy's in California these days. So just still waiting to see if we could get him on or not.
Buddy probably taking a little sabbatical.
Who knows? He might be in Russia too, and that's why he's not getting a text. I haven't even checked it, because I mean, this fight is what, 20 days away, 25 days away, something like that.
A little bit more than that. It's days like the 28th. Well, they like I don't know what day that is. What day is?
How many days in July?
So tag on 25 days plus the days we got left in July.
That's what I'm saying. How many days in July? 31 or 30?
A lot of them, nigga. 31, I think.
Okay, so we got about 26 days for the fight. It's on the 24th of August. I'm interested in the fight. I just don't know how to pick. I'm being honest. Like, my mind is telling me Kovalev, because he's like more experienced. He's been there. Like, he been in there with Ward. Like, he been in there with Alvarez. He been in there with Chilemba, I think twice, right? He fought Chilemba twice or no?
I do believe he fought him twice.
Yo, he even been in there with like Gabriel Campillo. Like, I was listening to Tundi Ajayi, and he's like, basically paraphrasing, he's like, yo, everybody's saying, who did Yarde fight before he got the title shot? Who did he fight? So he's like, who did Kovalev fight? And the dude's like, well, he fought Nathan Cleverly. He's like, you see? And it's like, nah, bruh. He fought Gabriel Campillo, who was a former world champion. You know what I'm saying? He beat Linnell Thompson, who was a Mayweather promoted fighter. And yeah, maybe that's where his clout stops, but he's still hard-nosed. Like, he's a tough dude. He beat Darnell Boom, same dude that dropped Andre Ward, beat Adonis Stevenson, way before Adonis became Superman. So, like, I don't know, man. The dude got pedigree. Kovalev had names from the giddy up. From the giddy up. He was in there with names. Even Cornelius White, veteran. Nothing to hang, I'm not writing home about White, but it's like name after name after name. Like, I know Darnell Boom, and most of us do. Linnell Thompson, hardcores know him. Campillo, we know him. White, we know him. Cleverly, we know him. Solid, we know him. Agnew, we know him because boxing was scarce back then, and we only really had HBO and Showtime, and they obviously put Cedric Agnew in there with Kovalev, but he ain't really done much after that fight. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even get buzz after that fight. Blake Caparello, I know him, and maybe hardcores know him. He's from Australia. He got the shot next, but he's still a recognizable name. Hopkins, legendary name. Pascal, recognizable name. Been in there with numerous fighters. Now, he being Kovalev, in my opinion, made Muhammadi famous. Like, I never heard of Najib Muhammadi till Kovalev stopped him. And then Muhammadi went on to get more light heavyweight fights, becoming more recognizable in the division, but not really for winning. But then he went Pascal again. Like, this dude has never really had some nobody. It's just been all names, which I guess Igor is that nobody, right? And that was well deserved. And so, I mean, we even knew Shabaransky. So, but I guess that's where it fits in. These are all tough fights, though, and maybe the odometer is starting to show some wear and tear. You already say the decision is based off age as well, but do you think he has too many miles? You think these fights have been tough on him?
I mean, when you think about it, only two fights that come to mind. There were three, the two Wars fights, and the fight with Alvarez, the first one. Every other fight, I don't know if it's really been like that. That kind of fight for Kovalev. I don't know how tough they been. Like, Shabransky was an easy fight. Milolenko was a easy fight. Even though Chilemba went the distance, it wasn't like it was more of a lackluster performance from Kovalev, because I believe that's a fight he took before he fought War for the first time. I remember watching that fight on HBO, just like, damn, that's the guy that's fighting War. But I was naive at the time, and Kovalev didn't really put a whole lot of effort in that fight. So I wouldn't say he's like battered or like war torn or anything like that. I just think that he's a little bit older, you know what I'm saying? Reflexes may be a little bit slower, you know what I'm saying? It may take a little bit longer for him to get warm up now. He may have to put on a little bit gay, you know what I'm saying, every now and again, but I think that's the biggest thing. I don't think he necessarily went to war a whole lot of times. Now he has all these miles on him. No, I do think he's a little bit older, but that's about it. I mean, we've seen him with his last fight. Old dog learned new tricks with Buddy McGirt.
Now, again, watching interviews with Tundi Ajayi, he's like that Anthony Yarde has or is the glamour or brought the glamour to the division. Basically, like, he's trying to say he's the star. He literally said he's the A side. What other big light heavyweight name do you think is out there? Like, when you think light heavyweight, who comes to mind first, in your opinion?
Dimitri Bivol.
So you think Bivol can be a star?
I think
You
Bivol.
think he adds glamour to the division the way that Ajayi is preferencing it?
I think Bivol is one of those hardest hit guys in the division. Be a star, got to learn English. You know what I'm saying? I always say that. But yeah, I mean, he has some components of where he can be a damn good fighter. I know there have been rumors of him moving down to 168, so we got to see how that plays out. But guys, check, can he be a star? Nah, I mean, I don't know. Not really. But better be. How long has he been champion? What has he really done? Has he? You know what I'm saying? Can he be a star? I don't know. I mean, Kovalev, I mean, he's probably the biggest star in the division right now. And if Yarde is able to beat him, you know what I'm saying? You see a young kid, brash, you know what I'm saying? Confident, very, very confident. Good looking, you know what I'm saying? Got endorsements with Adidas over there. So, yeah, I mean, if he's able to win, I mean, I do believe that his stardom will rise and the UK public will start to like get behind him and not call him a prospect or unproven, things like that.
Let me throw some names at you. You say, nah, Yarde is more popular, same level, you know, however you want to answer it. Jesse Hart. Just
More
moved
popular.
up.
He's more popular than Jesse Hart. The Jesse Hart first fight in 175 was Barrera, but I think Hart has the better win.
Can I interrupt you for one moment?
Yeah.
Are you preferencing the popularity in the division or overall? Because you like
Overall.
All right, so why does it matter that you only had one fight at 175 if we're talking popularity? And factor in that you like to use
that he has a better win at 175 than Yarde too. So
factor in that you like to use the ESPN platform, how big it is and how many households it reaches. Hart, if anybody, has had that platform longer and has been using it. I know that Anthony Yarde's last fight was on the BT ESPN deal, which I think he aired around 3 or something like that.
Yeah, last couple of fights been on ESPN. He's been on the Canelo undercard when Canelo fought Leon Smith, so he got some.
He was also supposed to be on that Fury card, Wilder Fury, but it's probably pulled
also,
out.
I just think that if you go to America, I mean, among the boxing hardcore people, I know people know Anthony Yarde, but if you go over to England, I don't know how many people necessarily know who Jesse Hart is.
I don't know. I was just trying to see how much credit you give Hart for being on ESPN repeatedly and having world title shots on ESPN. Does that?
He got on ESPN twice, lost to.
Nah, more than twice, because he lost to Gilberto. Then he got like 2 tune-ups where he got 2 knockouts on ESPN. Then he fought Gilberto again. Then he moved up and fought on ESPN again.
Yeah,
So,
those 2 losses against Gilberto, Gilberto really could have propelled them farther, but I just feel like those 2 tune-ups really didn't move the needle. Nobody was really talking about it. When he fought Sullivan Barrera, it was a high fight, but it wasn't really people just clamoring and talking about that fight either.
and what about the man you were just speaking of, Gilberto Ramirez? Does he add glamour to the division? Is he an A side to Anthony Yarde, or is Anthony Yarde still the A side to Gilberto?
I don't know. I know. Gilberto is a Mexican fighter, so he brings in a lot of Mexican fan base, but he's just not the star that you think he would be by having that Mexican fan base. So I thought he would be bigger than what he is now. Maybe I'm just being hard on him, but he's not the name that I thought he would be, especially being a guy who fought at 168 or 175. You know what I'm saying? I thought he'd be a bigger star than what he is right now, but you know.
So if this fight with Kovalev wasn't happening and Yarde was negotiating or struck a deal with Gilberto, would he be B side or A side to Gilberto?
Maybe a 50-50 fight. I don't know if there would be a B side or A side in that fight. If it was like for like a mandatory, if it's for a mandatory, then I guess it'll go to purse bid and work out like that. But yeah, man, I'm not quite sure it will be the A side in that fight. I really, you know me, I'm not a big fan about A sides and B sides. Just make the fight happen.
Well, I'm just trying to gauge, like, all right, Yard wins this title. According to Tundi, he's brought glamour to the division. Like, are we all of a sudden, because look, when Anthony Joshua won the belts, heavyweight division became hot. Is that what's going to happen at 175? Because that's what Tundi's insinuating. If this man is the glamour man of the division, is it all of a sudden going to be jumping in every fight with Yard we want to see, and it's going to be pay-per-view? Like,
I mean that's what you can hope for, you know what I'm saying? But Tunde Ajayi, I know he's, you know what I'm saying, you shoot for the moon, well, you shoot for the stars, hopefully you land on the moon. And that's exactly like what he's doing by saying that he's going to be the glamour of the division. We don't know until it happens, you know what I'm saying? He could be Kovalev and go back to being the same old Anthony Yarde he has been. So I'm not going to sit here and agree or disagree with him. I just say time will tell, and you can't really say who's going to be the glamour of a division. The fans will choose that, you know what I'm saying?
Agreed. I mean, I don't see many more names. Marcus Brown?
He has to really take control of what goes on outside of the ring before we talk about Marcus Brown being a big time star, you know what I'm saying? Because it's always, I feel like it's always something about Marcus, you know what I'm saying? Not saying it's of any fault of his own or is any fault of his own, but a lot of times when you hear about Marcus Brown, it's not for the best reasons.
All right. Man, I'm telling you, this is
Everybody else really don't speak English. Like Gobchek, I mean, not
Badu
really.
Jack is still in the WBC rankings. I don't see him in any other rankings though.
Brother Jack.
Oh, he's in the A. He's in the A WBAs as well. No IBF though.
Bivol, I don't think he speaks that much English. Better Beav, I don't think he speaks that much English. So I think fights with those guys will be big, but those guys really don't speak.
Bruh, I'm struggling to find like 5 names, man. Anthony Yarde, don't get me wrong, it would be a hell of a career if he won the title, beating Kovalev. You know, next fight, I don't know, Badu Jack. Next fight, you
Probably
know.
be somebody like Callum Johnson or somebody like that, one of Eddie Hearn fighters.
I mean, that's probably not gonna happen. You know, Johnson is with Hearn.
Nah,
this
but
guy's
shit,
with
bro, trust me,
Warren.
they're trying to make that fight for the longest. The long. Eddie would say he'll send Johnson over to BT Sports. That's no problem. You know what I'm saying? And he'll pay Callum Johnson's purse. You know? And I believe he said that before.
Yeah, but that was all before this.
But I'm pretty sure it's the same way, bro. Like, because Eddie believes that Callum Johnson is a better fighter and can be Yarde, and that's the reason why Frank Warren kept him away from him early on, because he didn't want to jeopardize that world title shot. You know what I'm saying? Because they were mandated.
But that opinion can change as soon as Yarde goes in there and knocks out Kovalev. I don't think. I mean, obviously, he's not going to stop Callum from fighting Yarde, and probably will still have the same enthusiasm to get Yarde that fight. But I don't think that the belief will be the same. I think that the enthusiasm will be the same to get the fight, because now you're getting a championship fight for your fighter. But I think that from, you know, the thought of domestic level fight and or challenge, if he beats Kovalev, like, man, hell no. You can't look at Callum Johnson as a threat. Don't get me wrong, he is. He got a big right hand, but I don't know, man. I mean, Better Beef got up from it. You know, people getting up from it, you know, and Yarde is very young. He's athletic.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like, as a title defense. And he said you were kind of struggling, like, with names. I was just trying to give you a little bit of names, and you got to watch it.
Yeah, no, you know what I was going to say? I was going to say the Badu Jack first, then, you know, maybe go back home and do the true domestic fight that people want, which is the Buatsi fight. But you know, maybe it's better to give Buatsi a chance to get the belt. My man Fei Long, man, might get the belt first.
I think, but they're take Boatsy down a sanctioned body and try to get him a belt from one of those guys who are fighting.
Yeah, he's highly ranked in the IBF, so I think that's where it'll happen. I mean, he could also get a shot in the WBA. Don't get me wrong; he's number 3 in the BA.
And I think if Dmitry Bivol end up moving down, like a lot of speculation that he will be, he might be fighting for a vacant title, Boatsy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, do we still hear that? I haven't heard anything or seen any headlines with Bivol and thoughts of moving down in a while.
I'm just going off what I last heard. You know what I'm saying from him and his people. You know what I'm saying? I think there were rumblings after the fight with Joseph Smith that they were thinking about going down to 168. You know what I'm saying? If Bivol, I'm telling y'all now, if Dmitry Bivol go down to 168, bro, he's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a real problem for anybody at the 168-pound division. He's knocking guys out at 175 with no problem. 168 is going to be tough. And I do believe Anthony Sims Jr. is also moving down to 168. So,
all right, well, let's get out to these phone lines here. Get this thing started. We're going to stop with our sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Going out to
Mr. PBC, baby.
Last time I checked, I was the man on these streets.
Good.
What up?
Yo, what's good, man? Hey, this is gonna be a good fight. Cause last time I motherfucking checked, Kovalev, he brings it. But Styles makes fight. Anthony Yarde don't really bring it. He takes his time, keeps his energy at a good level, tries to, make sure his energy lasts. But Kovalev really does bring it. But then that last 2 fights ago when Kovalev got knocked out, it just makes me think about some shit. And Kovalev is getting old. I'm going to have to go with Anthony Yarde. Even though he ain't never really brought it, never really been in a tough fight. I ain't never really seen what he can do. But I like how he keeps his energy low. He keeps he stays calm and collective. I'm going to have to go with Anthony Yarde. And that's my prediction. But I like to say this. It's a beautiful day in the PBC neighborhood, man. Seeing Floyd Mayweather, acknowledge motherfucking Andrew Broner for giving him Gervonta Tank Davis. Seeing Floyd Mayweather talk about he's still part of PBC. He's still with Al Heyman as a business stance. And I love PBC, and that's my call.
Well, all right, Dominic, man. Thanks for calling in. Do appreciate that. We're gonna, let's see here. Looks like we got a couple callers on Skype. Don't forget, you can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation, and you can also call us at 1-425-569-5241.
And if you're listening right now on YouTube, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. I got 283 watchers, so I need 283 thumbs up. If you want to go one step farther, head over to ThaBoxingvoice.com/affiliate sponsors and click on that Amazon link. Bookmark that link, save that link, and do all your shopping through that link. It costs you nothing extra every time you do your shopping, but we do get a little kickback every time you use our hyperlink.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You invited him to the ring? Why?
Yo lo invité a que se viera. Como decimos en México, hay que dejarnos de mamadas. ¡Viva México!
And like we say in Mexico, we don't fuck around.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Machine Gun, what it do?
Yo, what up? MMG on TBV. Shout out Dollar DiBiase for the intro, man. Look, in this fight, man, I like Kovalev, man, because like when you go back to look at his only losses with the Andre Ward twice, and then with the later Alvarez, I went back to the later Alvarez specifically, man, to really see what happened. And to me, it was just about how in shape Kovalev really was, man. You know, coming towards the 5th, 6th, and 7th, his hands are going down, and he just made the mistakes, bro. That's why he got dropped, you know. So to me, this will all depend on if Kovalev is in good shape and if he makes any mistakes, man, because that's really what got him knocked out against Eleider Alvarez. You know, he wasn't in the best shape. He started dropping his hands and leaving his face more forward and open. And named Yarde, man, he hasn't really been in no tough. He's kind of like the young Kovalev, you know, not really fighting anybody big, always going in there and just mauling the shit out of people. So I got Kovalev, man, as landing. But in all seriousness, Kovalev needs to be in good shape and not needs to be perfect, but he needs to be careful in this fight, man. That's my call.
Matt, thanks for calling in. Machine Gun back on Border War September 14th. Time to go out to Boomeranger.
BoxingVoice.com.
It's money to shit. Working that wrist. Ballin' like Swiss. Diamonds wet like a fish. Pull up with them sticks. Come fuck with the clique. We fucked on your bitch. She sucking the dick. I'm whipping the work.
Hey yo, what's going on? It's your boy H Money, Mr. Dazn, the Boxing Voice 2019 Rookie of the Year, and Sergey Kovalev versus Anthony Yarde. The only reason this fight is taking place is because Kovalev ducked Canelo. He ducked his biggest payday. He ducked the shot at the cash cow and the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Canelo was willing up to move 2 weight classes to fight Kovalev, and he rejected the offer. I mean, shout outs to Canelo Alvarez, willing to make the biggest fights in boxing. The pound-for-pound king, one of the youngest fighters with the best resume in the history of boxing. And shout outs to Deej in the UK, kicking shit with Deontay Wilder like Maradona. Kicking shit, man. For real. Big boy shit. Ness, you know, Deej was at an auction. He was bidding. And he won a bid for Deontay Wilder, man. He won big money, Ness. You know what I'm talking about? TMG. Over $2,000. Deej spending money, bro. You know what I mean? I'm still waiting for somebody to match our super chat. What's up with the LDBC? Where they money at? They ain't got no money, bro. TMG got more money than the LDBC, a group of bitch-ass niggas. We in here. TMG, we here to stay. We took over. We got more money than the LDBC. We in here.
Cut it.
Can't we all just get along, man? Ain't we all just boxing fans? What's this divide going on, man? Deej in the UK, what up? Boomerang.
What's up, guys? Yeah, you know what?
What up?
This is a brilliant fight, but what do we know about it? Where is it?
Russia.
Boy, sir, you know what? I'd love to go.
You want the stadium? I have that too. It's August 24th at the Traktor Arena in Chelyabinsk, Russia.
I fancy going there.
The event is presented by RCC Promotions, Main Event Promotions, Krusher Promotions, and Queensberry Promotions, Frank Warren.
I don't know, man. I might fancy going there to watch that, to be honest, because, boy, we don't get a lot of events in Russia, but I don't know. I do kind of fancy Yarde for it, but with it being in Russia, I'm not too sure. In fact, if I was to be blatantly honest, I'd rather there was a tournament and both of these guys were in it.
Why do we always think Russia's gonna rob somebody? Like, what's the last major boxing event that they blatantly robbed someone, or are we just categorizing them as a country because of their drug tests? I mean, the drug test failures in the Olympics or something? Like, I don't really get it.
No, it's not that. It's just like we've got a phrase in the UK where we call it the 12th man. Usually it applies for soccer, and like it's just what the extra energy the crowds give you, and it's something special. I think we saw that with Pulev versus, is it Huey Fury? You know, they fill up the stadiums, and they bring it in. It's like they're in the fight with you. You know, they can give you a little extra something when you actually need it. And I actually believe in that. You know, you talk to Wilder is a real energy person. And when the people can give you that energy as well, it's really hard to combat. So it's just one of those things. I'm not trying to say that he's going to get robbed. I'm not saying it's going to be EDs or anything. I'm just saying that people can give you that extra energy. And when that energy is against you, boy, sir, it is going to be up against you. So I don't know. But I do fancy going out there to actually see that fight. You going?
No, sir. No, I've never even Googled the price of a flight to Russia. Never.
Now what?
Honestly,
This is live.
Make you like a citizen.
I'll be honest with you.
Roy Jones.
I'll be honest with you. I've never had any interest in Russia. I hear it's very cold and a lot of snow, and even with this fight, like it's not gonna do it for me. Like that's not the country I want to visit when I say I want boxing to be international. Like it's cool. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what other than the fight makes you want to go to Russia.
I'm out.
All right, Mike. What about you? If you had it, right? Like if money wasn't an issue, not an option, but wasn't an issue. Or like let's just say you already travel to fights. That's your thing. Would you make the extra effort for this one? Is that I don't know.
It was like in my ability to do it. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind going to see over there to see the Kraken. Going over there to see some of the legendary monuments that they have over in Russia. I know people look at Russia like they had something to do with the election and all that kind of shit, but at the end of the day, I mean, just to like get outside of the United States and experience some different customs, I wouldn't mind, you know what I'm saying, going over to Russia, nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind traveling anywhere as long as it's worth the fucking wait time on the plane and the fucking overlays and all that kind of shit. So yeah, I don't have a problem with going to Russia, man. I think Russia, in my opinion, may be a beautiful place to look. I mean, is it always cold over in Russia, or is it like cold sometimes?
Bruh, I've never Googled the flight or anything like what to do in Russia. Should I go to Russia? I just don't do it.
I always seen like Roy Jones and like Floyd Mayweather have on like them big ass hats and shit. So I guess it's always cold over there.
Yeah, or that's like tradition. You know, not tradition, but you think of them hats, you think of Russia, so maybe they wanted to take it for picture purposes. I don't know. I just don't really have any interest. 612-483. You have not pressed 1. I don't know if you know, but if you don't, you can't really jump on the show. 612-48. Oh, that's Marlon. Marlon, you just listening? Out there doing your run? Mr. Sims? All right, then. That being said, final thoughts. Still don't know who I'm going to pick, man. I think I'm going to have to rewatch some yard fights. I just don't know who I'm going to pick for this one. And it sucks because, I want to make some money on it. It all boils down to money, Mike. Money Mike, what up, man? We out. Talk to me.
I love this fight. You know what I'm saying? I've been a big fan of Anthony Yarde for a long time. The first time I seen him doing like the Dante's Boxing Nation interview back in 2015 or 2016, somewhere around that time frame. Yeah, man, I've been a fan of it ever since. Following him, watch him on the Canelo Liam Smith card, fight down in Texas. Been watching his progression and career ever since, so I'm happy for him. Glad he's getting his title shot. Glad he's getting paid good too, and that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, like making sure these fighters get the money that they can, the most money that they can make. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for that too. Kovalev is not a soft touch, man. Like people see Kovalev both lost to Ward. Ward is one of the greatest fighters of our generation, and Alvarez, you know what I'm saying, got a big knockout, but Kovalev was able to come back and really put it on Alvarez, really showed him a different Kovalev. And Buddy McGirt has been doing a great job with Kovalev. Let's see how the second fight go. But yeah, Russia, UK. You know what I'm saying? Big little clash over there with both those countries only being 2 hours apart. Somebody just told me from the time zone. So I don't think if it's a 2 hour discrepancy, I don't think then they should go over there more than a week early. Like I go maybe that Friday before fight week. You know what I'm saying? Be there for the weekend and like make sure I'm there to get rested and get my sleep ready for the week to come, but with all the media obligations, with the weigh-in, with the press conference, with the everything that goes into a big fight like this. So yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I'm hopefully they don't fuck around and make. Well, I ain't gonna say hopefully, because if the Canelo fight is made, then it's bigger. But I think Canelo and Derevchenko might be fighting each other, so Canelo won't lose that belt. But other than that, follow me on IG at Gross1911 or on Twitter at Gross2312.
On a final note, I just hope that it gets the promotion that it deserves. You know, like that we get to see everything that is this fight week, weigh in, all that. You know, that it's covered properly. That being said, and that's GTO, Instagram and Twitter. Peace.